Hello and welcome back to the Staggies View podcast. It's been a few weeks since our last recording, and it's certainly been a whirlwind time. But we've done it, lads. Finally, thanks to the playoffs for the second year running, unfortunately. But who cares? We are staying up. And let's be honest, it feels absolutely magnificent to be spending our sixth consecutive season in the top flight of Scottish football. I'm your host, Peter Mackay, and joining me on today's episode, he tweets to the left, he tweets to the right. Robbie Macdonald makes Inverness Cali Thistle fans bite. How are you, my man?
That is shocking.
I thought that was quite good.
I'm good. I'm glad to be back on the pod after our long hiatus.
Fantastic. Also joining us on the panel today, Robbie, and if you're watching this on YouTube, as you can see, it's jelly and ice cream when Cali die. It's Ramsay Banks. How are we, mate?
Yeah, I'm never better, mate. I wasn't sure if we were going into a particular topic today. Are we keeping it all county today?
We'll try our best. We've not started off very well, but anyway, lads, coming up on the agenda today, we delve into both exciting legs against Dortmund. Raith Rovers. We take a look back at the last league games, and we're going to debate whether we deserve to finish 11th or whether we should have got the job done. We also have the usual segments coming up. Tweet of the week, good, bad, ugly. You know the drill by now if you're watching this. We're also going to discuss some of our favourite and least favourite moments of the campaign. Well, before we get into all the real football chat, I've got a question for you both. Simple, starts off. Ramsay, I would like to know how you celebrated staying up.
Oh god, I'm gonna sound like a proper boring. I spent the night at home, mate. I don't know. I didn't do much. Didn't go out. Just had a couple of drinks in the house with my mum.
I feel like none of us today had that excited, did we?
Robbie, I didn't. I did the exact same thing.
Just went to bed. When you win games that easily, there's not much.
The game finished at 2:00.
Yeah, it was such an early shift. There's no. We all knew what was coming anyway.
Yeah, well, as you said, turned out to be an easy shift, but when the Aberdeen game finishes, we realise, wow, we've fucked it up, and we're going to be playing another playoff. Robbie, when we were heading into that, were you that confident when we were fresh off a 2-2 draw with Aberdeen, knowing that St Johnstone had not done us a favour? They'd gone and they'd beaten Motherwell.
To be honest, I was confident. I wasn't I wouldn't say I was overly confident or 100% saying that we were going to stay up, but I did think that we had a pretty good chance. I did going into the game. I would say that I thought that Raith Rovers are probably. It's easy to say now, but I would have said before, I think Raith Rovers are definitely worse than Partick Thistle were last year. And I think that despite kind of chucking 10th in the end, we were playing pretty well the last couple of games of the season. We did look like we knew how to score goals. So I thought that going at the Raith Rovers game, I thought we would be okay, provided that we didn't stuff it up in the first leg like we did last season.
Ramsay, what about you?
I was 60-40, confident in favour of County. Obviously, Raith are a good side, but in the Championship, there's usually a really big team that comes down, like Dundee United. And there's always a team that's been in the Championship for ages that seems to push them all the way, run out of steam, doesn't win the league title, goes into the playoffs, runs out of steam again, doesn't quite make it. My big confidence came from the fact that I thought Raith Rovers were going to be that team, and it turned out that that happened to another team. But also, I did think that we had more firepower than we did last year.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. But obviously, Ramsay, you had a bit of a unique situation coming into the first leg. Do you want to talk to us a bit about that?
So I scheduled a holiday with my mates from school, and it lined up with the last two games of the normal league season. So I ended up missing those. I was going to, yeah, I know, bad from me. I went to Mallorca with my mates, and it was, good trip. Uh, Good trip, had some fun memories, and just a good time overall. They're both Celtic fans though, so I got dragged across to watch Celtic lift the league, which wasn't a fun experience, but hey ho. But anyway, we got on the flight from Palma to Newcastle on the Thursday morning. Made it into Newcastle in like mid-morning. We had ages to wait in Newcastle for the bus up to Edinburgh, where I got off the what when what happened? Yeah, I got the train to Kirkcaldy the game, but the night before the flight, we had to check out pretty early, so this ended up being like 20 hours of sitting and waiting and traveling. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't sleep. So I rocked up to the pub. What was it? Novas in
Novar, I
Kirkcaldy?
think. Yeah.
Novar in
Cracking
Kirkcaldy to
steak
meet
pie.
you on like half an hour of sleep with like a backpack and a neck pillow. Just looking like a bit of a
With
mess in all honesty.
with clothes
Pete
stuffed
the
in
Legend
said neck pillow.
confirmed to be. What are you saying?
With clothes stuffed in that neck pillow.
I know, because Ryanair's bloody hold luggage prices, no way was I taking a suitcase.
Ramsay rocked up to the pub wearing 13 t-shirts and a neck pillow.
No, genuinely, I was wearing 5 t-shirts.
12 of which were
But
county
yeah,
socks.
Pete the Legend let me put my stuff in his car, so I didn't need to drag all that stuff into the game. But anyway, by the time we got into the game, I was running on half an hour's sleep, 3 Barbie bombs, and like 3 pints. So I was
Rocket
in a
fuel.
unique state.
Flying.
Sick. And Robbie, talk to me about your pre-match build-up. Unfortunately, we spent a long time together that day.
The last thing you want before a big football game. Me and you obviously had our kind of final exam of the year, a little magazine journalism day. Absolute,
Big up the
absolute,
NCTJ.
absolute nonsense, to be honest. spent the whole game spent the whole day talking rubbish. But very little work done, but managed it to get a little drive through from Kirkcaldy courtesy of you, which was greatly appreciated. And then just a nice, what a steak pie in that pub. That's all.
Oh, that
was
unbelievable.
delicious. I thought I got a good steak pie in Perth, but I tell you what, no, it wasn't Novar, blew out of the water.
I think so.
Delightful
It
establishment.
looked incredible, to be fair.
Yeah, it was
So yummy, so tasty.
Just on that drive, Robbie, I am still not fully recovered from that road.
That road was ridiculous.
Scary.
Kirkcaldy's in the middle of nowhere, man.
I don't know if any other county fans came via Glasgow, but that was like Rainbow Road on Mario Kart. Honestly, it was ridiculous.
Especially with the bad weather as well. It just didn't help. There was times like you'd be going over these little bumps. I thought we were about to fly off the edge.
Oh, it was scary. I wasn't even. There was no speeding, of course, either.
No, never. We never.
Yeah, honestly, you couldn't speed on that road. Honestly, it's not possible. Well, anyway, boys, we're going to delay the football chat once again, and I want to talk about a bit of a shambolic queuing system to get into the stadium. It wasn't great, was it?
No, I don't know, but I don't really know why. It just took ages.
Yeah.
It was backed out around the corner. It was pretty mad.
Don't know. I think there was a lot of county fans trying to filter through like one turnstile.
Yeah, I think that was the issue. There was just a lot of stuff.
But to be honest, I'm going to call out Raith Rovers for their operations and their logistics and putting us in that stand.
No,
it was absolutely awful.
Absolutely not. I will not call them out. I thought that stand was delightful.
Nah,
that's a brilliant little shed. That's where we should be every away day.
In fairness, right? That is one of the most fun county away ends I've been a part of.
It's class.
Yeah,
Like so
100%.
old school. Feel like it's about to fall apart at any moment.
And it was great for the atmosphere, but the first two positions I tried to stand in, couldn't see anything. So my angle was so warped because obviously it's like a triangle.
At first,
of
you
a
tried to
stadium.
get in the front with Liam and Neil, right?
Yeah.
The front's a
And
nightmare.
then-
You literally can't see anything front row.
Yeah, so then we went up, which was quite good.
The issue
And then
was it was because it was sold out. Like, see if there was more space, we would have been able to filter in. But just because every little seat was taken, and then literally the whole stand is standing. Like no one's sitting down on those little slabs of plastic. But as soon as if you stand on the steps, the stewards went mental. I have no idea why.
But there's literally nowhere else to go unless you want to be like down at the corner flag, which I don't even want to imagine
Like,
what the view was like from there.
Have to go right across and try and like just squeeze in amongst people anyway. So I don't know what.
To be fair, in the end, right, the stewards were telling us off for standing on the stairs, but like you'd try and get into where the seats actually were, and there just wasn't space, so you'd end up back next to the stairs, and then they just wouldn't call you on it again.
Yeah, I think I was still on the stairs.
Ended up being fine.
Because they were too busy trying to stop kids running on the pitch.
That was you, was it not?
Wonder what happened to that green t-shirt.
Oh no.
Alright, let's leave that one. Case might still be active. We might do ourselves here. Anyway, guys, time to talk about the football. We were pretty good. First half, it was we didn't score any goals in the first half, but I think straight away you could see we were, from the off, we were out to go and get them. We were out to attack. We took the ball, we moved it from side to side, and we showed good intent. And I was pretty pleased. I mean, 0-0 going into halftime, not ideal, but I think we knew there was goals coming.
Yeah, it was a stark contrast from the utter bed shitting that happened at Partick last year.
Yeah. Oh, couldn't be. Yeah, couldn't be any more different, really. It's making me sad thinking about that. But personally, I thought that was probably some of the best stuff we've played all season. To be honest,
it was pretty disappointing that we didn't have the lead at halftime. I think it was a similar theme throughout the both legs, but you could see it from the off in that first leg. We just had them for size and pace and fitness. Like there was a massive physical advantage for County in that game. I think a lot more than we would have had over Partick Thistle last season. And I think Raith Rovers actually looked good when they played football. And when they got the ball on the deck and popped it about, they looked like they were a pretty decent footballing side, but they just didn't seem to. And I think that is a lot of it was down to the pressing off the likes of Simon Murray, who were putting their centre backs, like kind of forcing their centre backs into having to play the long ball kind of style. But every single ball up top was just cleaned up easily by County's defence.
Our back three, I was going to say, Nightingale, Leak, Baldwin didn't give them a sniff. As you said, they just swept everything up. And by the way, whenever it looked like they were pinning us back a little bit, just give it Dhanda. I know if we can move ahead a bit, well, obviously we've known for ages that he's leaving. Obviously, Pete, on Twitter, you said just a step above the rest.
Yeah, 100%. I think
best player on the pitch. Give it to him, and just all the pressure seemed off our shoulders.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, what you said, Robbie, about physical advantage, I always feel like that's something I've never felt like in a long time supporting County, especially with this team. I always feel like it's other teams in the top flight have a massive physical advantage over us. But I think going with that back three and White especially, even to be fair, the midfield too, the two holders in King and Randall, they out-muscle their opposite numbers. But I think that's for the first time in a long time I've been like, yeah, we're the bigger, better, stronger, faster team here. And it was, I think, as soon as you feel that, if you can create some chances, then I think, that teed us up for the first leg win, really, didn't it?
Absolutely. I just think that on top of that, we played good football as well, which, we've had plenty of games this season where we haven't really been able to string the kind of passes together that we'd like. But Raith Rovers just, especially in that first half, just did not get a sniff. I think second half they did come into the game a lot more. And obviously they got the goal towards the end, and Laidlaw did have to pull off a decent save or two. But over the course of the game, County should have been scoring. We should have scored more than 2.
Yeah, I agree.
2-1 going on 6-1 according to some.
Genius. I didn't even know I tweeted that until you replied to it today.
Yeah, I was just scrolling mindlessly on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, a good one from you there."
The oracle.
Anyway, as you said, we did win 2-1. The first goal came through, and Eli King shot outside the box, struck the arm of Ewan Murray. Referee didn't point to the spot, but then it went to VAR. John Beaton went to the screen, and as soon as it went to the screen, Jordan White turned around to the County fans, gave a fist pump, and I was like, "That's a penalty." If he knows it, I was like, "I trust him." He's been great with us all season, telling us what the weather's like. So I was like, we can trust him. If we can trust him with that, then we can trust him with the play. Nah, you got it wrong once. I would trust him with my life, mate.
But it was clear penalty. Ball probably could be going in the back of the net. That shot.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a decent. It looked like a decent strike, but player's got his hand out. There's no way that the ref can't give that as a penalty.
Ramsay, that was some penalty from Dhanda, though, wasn't it?
I had my heart in my mouth for a second though, because it hit the post. But no, it was a class penalty. Obviously, we know he can do it under pressure. He's done it on so many occasions. Partick in normal time, Partick on penalties. Even the Aberdeen game to give us a chance of finishing 10th. He's done it before, and he did it again. Obviously, I think George Harman did an interview saying that his heart was in his mouth as well, but should never have doubted him. Class penalty.
Yeah, I mean, we were just speaking about the angle of that stand. The angle was
really
that bad.
I thought you missed it.
I thought he did a Panenka. That's how bad
Yeah,
my
me
angle was. I was
so
like,
weird.
I turned around. I was like, no way did he just do a Panenka in the playoffs.
The answer
Yeah,
was
because
no way.
I think a good few of us thought he'd done that.
Yeah,
Such a weird angle.
Yeah,
Not
but
penalty though. Not and even like they asked him about it in the Sky interview. I think it was the Sky interview. They asked him about it, and they're like, "Oh, were you a bit nervous at the post?" He was like, "Nah."
Yeah, when we were laughing at it on the way home, we're like, "You just absolutely shut down the journalist." But
I knew it was going in.
When you hit the post, nah, I knew it was going in. I love that. But then, boys, we managed to double the advantage. The skipper stepped up, Robbie. Were you expecting, of all people, when it matters, the skipper stepped up? That was a lovely moment, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great. It was good. Especially after his missed penalty in the playoff last year. It was good to see him become on the righter side of history this year. But I would, did you just ask me if I saw it coming? Because absolutely not. I would never see a Chad Baldwin goal coming ever.
To be fair, he's been due one. He scored a few in his debut season.
A few, but aye, he must have. He can't have scored more than 4 since he's been at the club.
True, but
I think the thing is for us, take away 2 legs against Raith Rovers, we are rotten from set pieces and corners. We never score from corners. The amount of times that Dhanda or Josh Reed or James Brown has whipped in an unbelievable corner this season, and we never ever scored a header from them. So that's why I think of all ways in which we were going to score, that was probably what I was least expecting. But I think Baldwin deserved that goal. As people know, I like to harp on about Baldwin a bit on here. I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism, but you know what? I didn't hear any of that. Ever since he came back from injury, didn't hear a whisper. Do you know why that is? Because he was being absolutely bloody excellent. He didn't put a foot wrong. And, as we're going to discuss, despite the fact we finished 11th, not 10th, his performances were so key in even for us to even have a chance of finishing 10th. I think if Jack Baldwin was out injured for the whole season, I think story could have been different. We might have had a different fate at the end of the season, but I just think he deserves a lot of credit because I thought he was unbelievable during the running.
His presence as the captain adds a lot to the team. I know some people, like to question the captaincy. I think a lot of teams, a lot of fans of teams like to do that. We even see it with the national team with Scotland and Andy Robertson.
Cough, Rangers.
Yeah, captaincy is always going to be a topic of debate, but I think he's shown ever since he's come back into that line, he's just added something extra, and just we're still conceding some stupid goals at stupid moments, and even Jack's had some moments where he's giving it away or whatever, but I don't think anyone can deny that he's added an extra calmness to that back line.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then funny to mention stupid goals, Ramsay. We did unfortunately not manage to keep the clean sheet in Raith Rovers. We were comfortable, right throughout the game. I think we kept pushing, even right after we scored, we kept pushing. We made a couple of changes though. I think Latuidi comes on, and the Fete came on as well. Sims came on up top, and we kind of started.
Not come on after the goal went in.
Oh, potentially, mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Well done.
Thanks, Robbie.
Sorry.
That's why you're host.
Yeah, no, I could be wrong.
That's why I meant to ask the questions, not answer them. But what I was going to say, Robbie, you cheeky git, you can answer this one. It was a rubbish goal to concede, do you think?
Yeah, it wasn't great. Like, just a very... like I said earlier, when they got the ball on the deck, they did look like a pretty decent footballing side, but it was very easy. He just cut us right open, got the ball down the right wing, and just a pretty simple cut back across goal. I think it's always going to happen. We're not going to go 2 games in a row with 2 clean sheets, are we?
Especially away from home.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a sucker punch. You think at 2-0, I was pretty sure this is done, and we did, and we looked like we were going to be. We looked like we had a pretty good chance of getting a third as well. We were still attacking and still getting the ball down and playing, getting the ball forward. But yeah, it was a bit of a sucker punch there, and it just left the away tie wide open, or the home tie in our case.
It was a silly goal to concede, especially at that point. But credit to, I think it was Sean Byrne with the ball out wide. That was some daisy cutter to. I'm not sure. Was it Easton on the right-hand side? I'm not sure. But yeah, it was well worked from their point of view. But yeah, no, not the type of thing, you just don't want to give them any hope. Flashbacks from our own comeback last year, drama of the playoffs. It's true to every country that has playoffs. And I was like, it looked like we were going to make it comfortable. But, we were heading back to Dingwall with Raith Rovers, who were, had hope in their hearts and wanted to emulate Borussia Dortmund for some reason. So, that's fun.
Yeah, indeed it did. And I mean, before we jump on and talk about Sunday's match, personally, I think we got quite lucky in taking the 1-goal lead back. Josh Mullen, I think, had an unbelievable chance. Ball gets played over the top, and there's a wide open gap between our centre halves for him, and he takes it on the half volley and drags it left. And I think if that was Josh Mullen of Ross County 2019, that's a goal right there. I think that ball fall to anyone, I would say I didn't want it to fall, of all people, but Josh Mullen. But thankfully, he dragged it wide. But as you said, Ramsay, full time 2-1. It was a great feeling. Players coming over, showing them some appreciation, and walking out, rain teeming down, walking through Kirkcaldy back to the car, singing some songs. That was fun, wasn't it?
That was good fun. I was. It was good fun. I was pretty delirious by this point. It I was wet, I was cold, and I was in desperate need of my bed. But yeah, it was a moment I'll remember for a long time.
Lucky for you,
Yeah.
Ramsay. You didn't have to spend the next 3 hours in a car back up the road with Pete.
I didn't. I did, however, have to spend 2 hours waiting for the trains and on trains because the only train going back to Glasgow from Kirkcaldy was going by Edinburgh. I had to go
Oh,
back to Haymarket and across to Glasgow.
That was pretty rough.
that was
Yeah.
bad.
But you got to avoid Cowden beef though, so that's a win.
Oh
I did
my!
get to avoid Cowdenbeath.
I couldn't. I still am baffled of how we ended up in Cowdenbeath, Robbie.
What a town.
Basically, Ramsey, we ended up driving through this town, and I missed like the sign as you come in. It's like, oh, welcome to wherever. And I was just so confused. I was like, Robbie, check where we are just now. Robbie pulled up the map, and somehow we were in Cowdenbeath, and I was so perplexed by the fact that we'd ended up in Cowdenbeath. Oh yeah, it was certainly an experience.
When we
Oh,
were
you made
in,
it home in the end, at least.
I was in Elgin at the weekend prior to the county game. So like I went back up on the Thursday night, and then we got in at like 2 in the morning, and I went to Elgin for the day, and then stayed overnight for the Friday and Saturday. There was this boy in Elgin. It was basically like one of my pals had invited a load of her friends. So like a lot of us didn't really know each other. There was this boy, and I was like just to get chatting to him. He was pretty sound. He said he was from Dunfermline. And then I just spent the day kind of making Dunfermline jokes and Fife jokes, which the Fife jokes have thankfully continued on. Making a few Dunfermline jokes to him. And then, like, just before I left on the Saturday, it actually transpired that the boy was actually from Cowdenbeath. He just did on his face. He said he was from Dunfermline.
Wait, could you given him a lift up? Fuck's sake.
I know. Why? He was too embarrassed of his own hometown.
And then obviously, Robbie, on the way home, there was a wee county contingent all decided to stop in Perth Broxton. Shout out to Stephen Cleland of the county corner. We saw him gearing himself up for the last leg of the journey. So and then nice wee chat with him about proceedings. So,
what was that thing you bought?
Oh, that was beautiful. It was I don't know. It was at Ginster's, I think. I don't know.
Chicken.
Chicken tikka slice.
A freezing cold chicken tikka.
If you know, you know. That was beautiful.
Absolutely immense.
Robbie, I've watched you have a rollover hot dog for breakfast.
Yeah, that's objectively good food. I was hoping to get a rollover hot dog on the way back, but it actually ran out.
No, it is good food, but it can't have been later than 11 in the morning.
I think it was 10. I was the way up to Aberdeen that day. That's a cracking bit of scran. But it's nice and warm. Nice and toasty. Nice warm bit of meat.
Cold I'll tell you something, Robbie.
Oh.
I enjoyed it. It hit the spot. It got me through. I was a man embarking on a 22-hour day. Just let me enjoy the finer things.
That was quite impressive, to be fair. I can't believe you got us home safely.
Yeah, well, you snoozed away, yeah.
Thank goodness. I'm bored of your chat.
Yeah, well, your tunes were terrible. So
I was not sleeping now. My tunes are great.
There was a period where they were shocking, and then they got good towards the end.
When I was sleeping.
Yeah. Oh, he was playing all sorts. He started playing like Adele and that, and I was like, "This is not what I need." I was like, "I need music to keep me awake."
That's exactly what you need after a 2-1 win.
Adele is class. Adele is class, but not while you're fighting sleep.
I was just playing someone like you in honor of Dhanda and his impending departure.
I don't want music that's going to make me cry when I'm driving up the A9.
Anyway, enough A9 chat. Raith Rovers came up the A9 bright and early on Sunday morning, and they were all wearing yellow t-shirts. Quite cute that, making a t-shirt all for your big day out in the playoffs, just to lose 6-1. But nevertheless, Ramsay, is that the most complete performance you've seen from this Ross County side this season? Bearing in mind, Sunday, I believe, was our first clean sheet under Don.
I was gonna say, like, why? How was that the most comfortable game of the season?
Because we're playing a
Yeah.
championship side.
I woke up on Sunday morning. I couldn't sleep on Saturday night. How could I sleep on Saturday night? I was terrified. And then we get into this game. We're all shaken. I sat next to you, Pete. Robbie, as usual, is 5 minutes late. And Robbie, you didn't experience the first 5 minutes, and that was comfortable as well. But pretty much as soon as you showed, we had the ball in the back of the net.
That's what happens, man.
And
That's
that
the Robbie
obviously made
Macdonald
us a bit more
effect.
comfortable. But why was this so, like, from a neutral's perspective, it's probably the most anticlimactic thing in the world. And to be fair, because of that, there's people raging about the playoff system. But, you know,
Yeah.
get it up them. If we finish 11th next season and stay up for a third season in a row, that would be quite funny. But hopefully that doesn't happen, touch
The
wood.
playoff system. I
Yeah,
don't
Robbie,
think it's actually that
you've been quite heavy-handed on Twitter in regards to this. So
Not like you.
for those people who say that the playoff system is geared in favor of the Premiership club and it should be scrapped, or that the Premiership club should have to play fourth in the Championship, what would you say to them?
It's obviously geared up for the Premiership side. Like, no one's denying that it is geared up for the Premiership side. But that's because we're the Premiership side. I don't see the point. Like, you saw how comfortable we were over Raith Rovers. I don't see what it adds to that playing against Airdrie. I think that I do get that the other leagues are structured differently, and it can, I don't know, semis and final may be a bit more interesting to some people. But I think that in terms of the Raith Rovers finished second, so their reward for finishing second is playing one less game than Partick or Airdrie. And then when it comes to us playing Raith Rovers, as they were the team that finished second, they've played a 36-game season. We've played a 38-game season. So we're both coming off the back of 38 games each. We also had to play on the Sunday prior to that playoff, whereas they played the Friday, so they get an extra 2 rest days. So I don't really see what the big issue is. I think that the lower league teams should have to battle it out for the chance to play us, because they're lower league and worse. It's like, if you want to come up, just win the league like we did.
Ramsay, would you agree with that sentiment, or can you see the other side of it?
I would largely agree with that sentiment. I know that, so obviously this doesn't really apply to us, right? Because we're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs on goal difference. I could see a scenario in which a team gets relegated automatically, cut adrift, but the team above them is also rubbish, and is miles away from the team in 10th. I can see a scenario in which that team is miles away from the rest of the league, gets in the playoff, wins 2 games, oh, they're back in the league this season, even though they've been terrible. But that doesn't really apply to us because we were more than within touching distance. I think, I think Scottish football, there's a lot of things in each part of the pyramid. If I can go a little off topic, such as teams getting invited to the Trust Trophy just because they've been in the league before, in the restructure, from the Lowland League, etc. Stuff like that all over the Scottish pyramid. And, we talked about, maybe having a 16-team top flight. So I think there's always going to be a conversation around restructuring, everything in the Scottish leagues. But I think the playoff system is one of the things that is probably the best about our game. We've had some cracking games over the years for neutrals that have garnered nationwide attention, not only in Scotland but even in England before. I mean, remember the day after the Partick game last year? Remember Metzala Designs made a print of our game. So I think overall they're a good way for the Scottish game to garner quite a bit of attention. I think if it were to be changed, then we could do what happens between the Championship and League One, just make it a semi-final and a final instead of a quarter, a semi, and a final, and then just a final for the top league team. I appreciate that was a lot of waffle, but I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah.
No, I agree. I think I can definitely see both points of view, and I think, like you said, there's discussion to be had about all areas of Scottish football, not only playoffs. I think leagues as a whole, there's a lot of pushing right now for league reconstruction and things like that. But I think that's a wee bit out of our remit, boys. So let's just talk about our win on Sunday.
I think, just to conclude that point, though, the most outspoken club, particularly a certain striker, about that unfair playoffs has been Partick Thistle, who are one of the few teams to have got relegated through that exact system that was benefiting the Premiership teams.
Partick Thistle are the team that have the least room to talk. You're right, Robbie. Not only did they get relegated through the system they're claiming favours the Premiership team, they would have been in the Premiership, well, this season, last season, whatever you want to call it, if they didn't have a last 20-minute fucking meltdown. They have no one but themselves to blame. I don't want to hear any Partick Thistle player, member of staff, fan talking about the interests of the Scottish game because we know why they're saying all this.
Yeah, the fact that Partick Thistle fell apart within 18 minutes was nothing to do with what league we are in. That was solely down to them. So, as I said, time to talk about Sunday. It was a cruise. It was a breeze. 6-1. We are staying up. It was just a great day out, wasn't it? But it felt a wee bit, I think it just, anticlimactic is probably not the right word, but I think just because of compared to last year and the whole Partick Thistle drama, it just felt really easy, didn't
It
it?
was a bit boring, wasn't it? First goal from Simon Murray was tremendous. Brilliant delivery from Will Nightingale. Don't know if I'm jumping a wee bit ahead here, but
No,
when it
go
went
for it.
1-0, I was like, game on, this is class. And then Raith just did nothing. They did nothing until it was about 3-0, and then they started pounding us. But Ross
I will say,
Laythorpe,
first half, it could have been 3-2 in aggregate if not for an unbelievable block on Ryan Leake. On Ryan Leake
Yeah.
from Ryan Leake. I thought at the time that was unbelievable. But I've just watched it back literally, I think, an hour ago. And it's not even that he reacts immediately to the shot, it's that he sees who the ball is going to and lunges to block it before it goes to him. It's an excellent piece of reaction defending that deserves a lot of praise.
Yeah, 100%. And, as you said, first goal, fantastic. Who else but Simon Murray? He's just, before we go on and laud his second strike, which was unbelievable, can you really believe how good of a season he's had? We've not had a striker be this good since Liam Boyce. And, I think Boyce was maybe on 26 goals that season. Bearing in mind that was all in the league, to be fair.
24, I think.
24 all in the league, which was, that's a level above. That's no one's ever going to do that again, probably. But, Simon Murray in all competitions, 23 goals, especially considering the position we're in the league, to be doing that, he's a joke. He's a joke. The hardest working player I've seen ever in my time supporting Ross County. He runs, he works like a dog. He's so passionate, he's so angry, but yet so happy. And he's just
Like you, man.
the all-round perfect guy. He's just such a hero. Does anyone else want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I do. I think I was going to bring something up after actually, but I think the biggest praise I can give Simon Murray is that it was common knowledge that he was one of the most disgruntled players under Derek Adams, but instead of downing tools, he was the one who was the hardest working every single game. It's as if being angry at Derek Adams spurred him on to, go on and do even more. And I think, I'm just talking about his attitude here, let alone some of the outrageous shit he's pulled off on the pitch, to score goals. I think, for goal of the season, everyone talks about Jan Danda's free kick, but that drag back and finish against Motherwell was disgusting. I think I've said it before. He's Alex Schalk and Craig Curran rolled into one.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, let's just jump forward. Talking about goal of the season, his second strike could have been up there if the vote was made earlier. That was an absolute rocket. Obviously, before that, the man, the myth, the legend with a magic hat, Jordan White, put us 2-0 up. That man again, Dhanda, magnificent ball into the box. Jordan White, there's no competition for him. Holds off all the wee Raith Rovers defenders, not a problem. Bang, into the back of the net. And at that point, 2-0 up and cruising. And then just to make things all the more sweet, Simon Murray with that absolute rocket, Ramsay. Talk to me about that.
First of all, I want to say it's fun. Jordan White didn't even have to jump at that corner. He just like holds off like 3 separate Raith Rovers players and nods it in. Nebraska had a bit of a stinker over the course of this tie. What was I going to say? Yeah, but that from Murray was just an absolute thunderbolt. I think by this point we were playing with quite a lot of freedom. And I think at this point he just goes, why not? We're winning this game comfortably. Unleashes that. Completely unsavable. I think the power in that. Obviously, a lot of Murray's finishes have been, close range. I think this might be his first from outside the box since that Motherwell game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in that Motherwell game, that was like a perfectly placed side foot finish. That this was just an absolute thunderbolt.
Yeah, it was magnificent. Robbie, at that point, I think we were in don't stop the party mode by this point. After that hit the back of the net, it was just, I think at that point we knew we'd done it.
Yeah, I think probably even at 2-0, it was looking pretty dead and buried. But what a way to seal the deal. Fantastic finish, and it's what he deserves. I was selfishly hoping he would get a hat trick towards the end just to cap off what had been such a good season for him. But to finish on a goal like that, he has almost kept us up single-handedly. Like there's been other players in the team that have put in a very good shift across the season, but like last season, Dhanda was the player who kind of stepped up and kept us in the league. I think that this year that's definitely been Simon Murray, and you can just see like the way he shouts at players, the way his attitude's infectious, and you can see when other players score, when other players, put in a good performance. You can see that Murray's right on top of them, making sure that they're hitting those kind of energy levels week in, week out. And I think he's such a massive asset to the team, and he's someone we're going to have to do everything we possibly can to keep hold of next season.
I was going to say, that's a good point, Robbie. We joke, that he's the world's angriest man when he scores. But in goal celebrations, whether it's him that's got the goal or it's someone else, he's always getting in the ear of his teammates to, say, yeah, that's all you, or, good job there. He seems to be a very encouraging person to be around, and that standing ovation for him when he came off was a nice moment. And I just wanted to ask, obviously, you were at awards night. How was it getting a picture with the man himself?
Fantastic. Just a great guy. Actually, very mellow and not angry at all when he's off the pitch. Yeah, he was. Yeah, just can't speak highly enough of him. Lovely guy. Took time to chat to us. For some reason, I don't know. He's chatting to me and Robbie especially Robbie. Again, chat to Robbie. He would do that. Have you got a nosebleed?
Okay there, Robbie.
Why is my nose starting bleeding?
This is a Staggies View first right now.
Yeah. Well,
call a medic.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right. Well, while we wait for Robbie, I just wanted to say, Simon Murray is a good guy. Last summer, he came into my work. I work with like animals and stuff, or I did last summer. I was just, feeding the goats in the morning, and I came out to go back to the shop because like I do loads of stuff. I like make coffees as well. I was walking back to the shop. And then Simon Murray just came in, and he was a good guy. I didn't want to bother him too much because he was with his family, but he was nice. I pretended not to recognize him. He definitely that I'd recognise him. I was not subtle in the slightest, but yeah, really nice guy. Nothing but nice things to say about the man himself.
Yeah, he was an absolute hero. Yeah, he was actually, maybe I shouldn't be saying this because it was off the record, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Just that, well, when me and Robbie were up giving the award, we slid in a wee joke about Derek Adams, of course, because we couldn't, because we were doing moment of the season, so we couldn't not. And I think Simon was quite reciprocating of that joke. He had a wee chat with us about the man himself, Derek Adams. So I know he's just an all round great guy.
I
But
think to be fair, I don't think you have to worry, Pete. I think his recent Twitter activity corroborates what you're saying about his opinion on Adams.
sorry, yeah, that's a great point.
We'll get on.
While Robbie's recovering from a near death experience over there, we'll just crack on, Ramsay, and we'll talk about Brandon Keller getting his first goal for the club. Obviously, someone who, speaking of the devil, Derek Adams took to the club and started straight away against that Celtic game which we were at, and we were very impressed by him that day. But ever since then, he's kind of, or should I say, sorry, ever since Derek Adams was mutually agreed to leave, he's not really had much game time. He's not started at all, really. He's had, minutes here and there off the bench. But, it was a nice fitting moment for him to get a goal, I think, because despite him not having the impact he probably would have wanted, it's clear for us to see he's a very talented player.
I think it was a good situation for him to come into because he's a young guy. What is he? My age? Is he 19?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I think this is his first loan as well, and he's a very skillful player. But the situations that he got brought on as a sub in other games has not been ideal for a player like him who wants to come on and show off and get fans off their seats. Obviously, it's situations in which we're protecting a lead, protecting a draw, chasing the game. High pressured situations. I was going to say for a kid, he's my age, for someone his first loan to come into. So obviously, for him to come on for Dhanda, when we're a good few goals up, we saw what he's all about. He was had a few tricks. He was popping passes all over the place, and he got his first pro goal. So I was very happy for him. And I was thinking, like, he's not someone I've been overly enamored by in his few months at the club, but I think we saw it with Turner. Players in his position have been at County limited to the bench or playing out of position because of Dhanda. So we're thinking of solutions to replace that Dhanda sized hole, and I think ultimately the answer is going to be we're not going to be able to, because players like Dhanda for Ross County come once every 5, even 10 years. Yeah, in terms of solutions, I hope the door isn't shut with Turner, but if Birmingham want to send Keela out on another loan, I wouldn't be against him having another spell with us.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. And just while we're on the topic of Dhanda, was, you mentioned the standing ovation for Simon Murray, but again, there was a special feeling around that when Dhanda got subbed off, because obviously everyone in the ground knew that he was going to be departing the club. And it was quite emotional, actually, for me anyway. Dhanda's, one of my favourite Ross County players ever.
Really?
I think you were tearing up, Pete.
Oi, put your camera back on.
Mate, I've literally got toilet roll like hauled up my nose.
Get that camera on, boy.
I'm not gonna lie, right? Genuinely, I think I've had in my entire life, I've maybe had like 3 nosebleeds or something. Like, this is not like a common occurrence. I just had a little blew my nose there, and I was like flipping, lot of snot coming out here. And just red blood started dripping all over my shorts. What an embarrassment for the final pod.
Put your camera on. Come on, show us.
I look like a dishevelled mess.
Do it. Come on.
Come
Wait for the
on.
blood to stop
We'll end up
pouring,
on
and I'll get the
Twitter.
camera back on.
Right, yeah. Anyway, I think, Ramsay, just give me some more content about Dhanda. I could sit here for hours and hours on end talking about how good he is. I've probably, if you added up the total minutes across this season of me talking about Jan Dhanda, you could probably get to about an hour, I reckon. So, Ramsay, shut up. How much are you going to miss Jan Dhanda in a Ross County top?
I think what you can say about Jan Dhanda is that even though he was coming into this club as a player who was meant to be the star player, he's come above expectations. And I want to say two ways. One, he's subverted expectations in the type of player he's supposed to be, which is when he came in, a lot of people thought he was going to be a luxury player. He's small in stature. He's not the classic player that a lot of people associate Scottish football with, but he loves to get into a tackle. Aside from all the amazing things he does on the ball, he loves to put himself about. When you're seeing him out there against players twice his size, he doesn't shy away from the physical side of the game, which some people thought he would when he first came in. And the second way in which he's, subverted expectations is that he's coming as a player who's at times been twice as good as anyone on the pitch around him. I'm not talking about, just in general ability, because I am of the opinion that we have a squad of talented players, but in individual matches, there's been, times where absolutely no one is at it. And, Danda's had bad games for us, but there's been times which he's been a standout, even when we're losing, 1-2-0. And despite that, he seems to have very little ego. Obviously, you have to have an ego to be as good as he is, but he's never acted above the club, even when he was in negotiations with Hearts. He never, obviously, we're not behind the scenes, but he never seemed to cause a problem or give the manager a headache or kick up a fuss. He had the armband, and he was tweeting about how proud he was to walk the team out of the tunnel. So when we remember Jan Dhanda, we're going to remember him for, the flashes of brilliance, the moments of class, the goals, the assists, the all that. But his attitude and the way he applies himself, and indeed the way he shows that he's not a luxury player, has been second to none. And I was on a podcast called Football with No Limits, Joe McTaggart runs, and I was talking about Jan Dhanda, and I said, I was like, right, I'm going to make a prediction. And he made me look into my webcam and say what I'm about to say. So I'm going to do it on this podcast too. I'm going to say Jan Dhanda is going to go to Heart of Midlothian Football Club and be their best player. He will be their player of the year over the likes of Lawrence Shankland. There you go. That's my big prediction.
That's a bold statement.
I don't think it's that bold, to be honest. I'm just going to add to the lauding of Jan Dhanda, which is probably could be my mastermind topic. I agree. I think the fact that Jan Dhanda is only signing for Hearts is a bit of a shock for me, to be honest. I think, when it got to January time and, Dhanda's the rumours of pre-contracts and stuff like that, no disrespect to Hearts, great team, by far the third best team in the country. But I really thought that Jan Dhanda was going to go down to the English Championship and could have gone to the English Championship. I thought he has more than enough ability to play at that level. But yeah, like you said, Ramsay, you were getting me a bit emotional there talking about him. But I think the time that I realised just how good he is when he was out injured and we didn't have him. And I think our performances were a lot different when we didn't have Jan Dhanda in the team. And similarly to when he was coming back to fitness. And I think it was against Hibs, he got subbed on, and instantly we just started passing the ball. We looked like a better team, and our whole play style, our whole aura just changed as soon as Jan Dhanda entered the pitch. And that's not even him being on the ball and getting involved. He makes other players around him play better as well. And I'm going to miss him massively. And Robbie, despite you disgustingly calling him a Hearts rat, have you got anything to add?
No, I think he's fairly worn his heart on the sleeve for the club. I think we can We were talking about attitude earlier, and you mentioned the captaincy under Adams. And I don't think any player should be slagged off. I don't think it really questions anyone's attitude. Like, of course, Simon Murray's probably had a pop at Derek Adams here and there, but it does say a lot how even under a manager who was that much of a crackpot, Jan Dhanda still did continue as like an utmost professional. Like he's never really slagged off Adams at all. He did genuinely still seem grateful to receive the armband under him. And I think he does seem like a player who took a lot of pride in being captain of Ross County. And he was talking, I can't mind if it was an interview or via Twitter where he was saying that like County's the most he's ever enjoyed playing football and that. So I think he's certainly a player who kind of appreciates the club as much as the club's appreciated him. And
I think that was on his
do
farewell.
Still hope he has an absolute stinker at Hearts, but on the whole, I would say he goes with our best wishes.
Robbie, even though you've said that, I have no difficulty believing that you're going to boo him when we play Hearts next season.
No, I would. See, that's one thing as well. I don't think, like, Josh Mullen was getting booed against Raith Rovers. I don't think that.
Yeah, that was poor. That was so poor.
I think that, like, there's certain players that deserve stick when they come back to County. Like, there's players who have basically upped and left us.
Marcus Fraser.
Like, when we were in a relegation battle with St Mirren and Joanna Arcan moved to St Mirren, like, he can happily give him a boo and give him a bit of stick. Anyone who goes near Cali Thistle deserves as much stick as humanly possible.
Alex Samuel.
But I think players that kind of just ran their course at County and got let go, the likes of Josh Mullen, even like a Blair Spittle, but I can understand Spittle more than Mullen. But I think like Mullen would have stayed at County if we offered him a deal. We didn't. He went down to a lower league. By all means, doing well for them. I don't think he deserves any stick.
I accidentally booed Mullen at the weekend.
Yeah,
I saw a random Raith Rovers player go over to take a corner, and I wasn't really paying attention, so I just went fucking boo. And Pete was, "Mate, what are you doing?" I was like, "That's Josh Mullen." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
I nearly ejected Ramsay from the stadium at that point.
I think when Dhanda's been so gracious in leaving, probably give him the courtesy to not boo him until he scores a worldie and celebrates.
And Robbie, I think if would like to protect any, I'm whipping out my media law training here, but copyrights, designs, and patents act, Robbie, you better, get some protection over that Dhanda in the Moonlight song, because that's going to get ripped and that's going to go viral, and Hearts fans are going to be like, oh, we made this amazing song for Dhanda, and in reality it was you.
That's hard to admit. It's all documented on the internet. So if anything comes to light, I will be making heavy claims.
I'll tell you something.
What an anthem! And quickly, I don't actually know if we've touched on this yet, but can we talk about? To be honest, I missed it all, so it's probably better you do. But can we talk about the playlist before the?
My goodness! Yeah, but
is it Chris Noble?
Craig Noble.
Craig Noble. Apologies. That was genius from him. Unbelievable. Get the fans on board.
I was struggling to believe my ears at points. I think I was entering the stadium and Girls and Boys was playing, and then
Cardiac Kaylee.
Yeah, when I heard Cardiac Kaylee come on over the speakers, wow!
I think that was Gordy's request, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was absolutely fantastic. And then what else do we have? We had
Don't Stop the Party,
Bulletproof,
Bullet Red, This Time Baby, I'll Be Ryan Leake. That was fantastic as well. Just, yeah, that was superb. If that didn't get you up for the second leg, then I don't know what will. So if you're listening to this, Craig, more of that next season, please.
Yeah, you're a good. Well, if you're listening, Craig, yeah, good guy as well. Thanks for the lovely message you left.
You're my player of the season, mate.
To our tweet to you.
Yeah, superb. Well, lads, the game ended. We won 4-0, 6-1, whatever way you want to look at it. We battered them. We blew them out of the water. We had a wee stroll on the pitch, lads. Got a nice wee photo. And then, lo and behold, we're on the way home. and Andrew Henderson, Fabrizio Romandri, and Andy Skinner are two Ross County correspondents. They've both tweeted saying Roy McGregor's just come into the press box and told us Don Cowie has been given the job on a full-time basis. Robbie, buzzing with that, are you?
Yep, of course. I've been saying it all along, and Roy McGregor did confirm it that no matter what happened, Don Cowie would have been staying on. But it makes it all the more nicer when we've just secured safety in the Premiership, giving them another bash at that. Hopefully, over the summer, he can learn how to win away from home. But on the whole, good appointment. And I think he's definitely the right man to lead the club forward. It's been coming. Like, we've all known for the past few years that it's kind of been geared up that Don Cowie would eventually take over. But I think this is definitely the time to do it.
Ramsay, are you in agreement?
I couldn't be happier. Not only has it been coming for a while, I just think it's a wonderful story. I think he's been at the club since he started when he was about 9 years old. I think the story of him starting with us, going away, playing for Scotland, playing in the Premier League, doing all these amazing things, coming back, finishing his playing career with us, doing his time as assistant, getting his chance as an interim, and now he's the permanent manager. I think it's just the perfect full circle moment, and hopefully he'll bring us on to bigger and better things. I'm very excited for the future under Don Cowie. I have a bone to pick though. I think, I fully respect that they wanted to do things the professional way, go over to the press room, do things properly, notify the press of what was going on. Don't you think though, everyone on the pitch, there was the stewards were forming a little bit of space around the tunnel. Don't you think it would have been class? Don Cowie, Roy McGregor, come out with a microphone. Don Cowie is the permanent manager of Ross County Football Club. Come on, be on WWE about it.
Should have brought the contract out in person.
I was saying that when we were on the pitch. I was like, get Roy on the mic right now. Give us some end of season words. So I would agreement there. That would have been magic. But I think for me, I don't think, as you said, Ramsay, I don't think anyone deserves it more. I think not only, let's be honest, Don Cowie took over when our squad and the club as a whole was in an absolute mess. We were in disarray when Derek Adams left. It was a shambles. Don Cowie took over. He steadied the ship. He united all the players. He united all the fans. And he's done a magnificent job. He won against Hearts, Rangers, Hibs, Livy, Raith Rovers. He obviously didn't quite do enough to finish 10th, but I think over the course of his tenure as interim manager, he more than enough showed that he is the man. He's the man who should be in charge of this football club. And as you said, Ramsay, it just makes it that bit more special knowing that he's been on that journey and came through the academy. He's a local guy, brought up in Strathpeffer. I don't think he epitomizes what you would want in a manager for your football team. So I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely over the moon that Don Cowie's in charge. Not only that, he's just a really great guy, sound guy as well, isn't he?
This is first of all, yes, Don Cowie is just such a nice guy. Can we get onto him? I will talk about him as a person until the cows come home. But can I bring up a potential bit of trivia before we start praising Don Cowie to the moon? I might have brought this up on the podcast before. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think you brought it up to me actually. I think I know what you're going to say.
He was brought up in Strathpeffer, which is about 10-20 minutes from Dingwall. In Europe, or maybe just in the UK, is there a manager of a top flight football club that was brought up closer to the stadium of the team they manage?
What? A current manager?
Yeah, current.
No.
That's a great question.
No, if anyone genuinely knows of anyone, then
I'm thinking
because I was thinking about this a few months ago.
I don't think any of the Premiership teams have a homegrown manager anyway.
Not in Scotland, not in England either, I don't think.
Don't think so.
Where's Sean Dyche from?
Manchester, I
He's
think.
not from Everett, is he?
Well, Everett's not a place. All right, don't count he's from Ross County, yeah.
No, like, he's definitely not.
Ross
Sky.
County is a place. Ross County is a county in Florida, man.
Yeah, it is to be fair.
And Ohio.
Where's Kettering?
Kettering Town.
Northampton.
They've got a good chant, they're not KTTs. He's I don't like some comedian who's like
Right,
a
change
joke
Anyway,
at
that's where
Kettering
Sean
Town.
Dyche is from. I don't think that's
fair.
anywhere near Merseyside.
Nah. Yeah, if any football fans out there know the answer to that, then
Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry,
well,
I interrupted the I love Don Cowie talk.
no, do you know what? It's fine. We're gonna move on. You know, we've been recording for an hour and 11 minutes now, so we're gonna move
Probably
on
bedtime,
to.
shouldn't know.
It's
Yeah,
well,
my
it's,
laptop
it's,
could
fi-
cook an egg
it's,
right
it's
there.
10 to 12 as we speak, so it's way past my bedtime. So
Man knows
Ramsay.
to stop bleeding. That's how you know it's time to go to bed.
Ramsay, I want you to kick me off. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're gonna go reverse order because we stayed up. We've got to be positive. We'll end on a high. Ramsay,
this
I want your.
from-
This
Is
is
this
from
from
the
the
Raith
Raith
Rovers ties.
or just Raith Rovers?
Yeah. Well, you know, let's go from the Aberdeen game finishing right along to now.
Ooh.
Sad.
So Robbie or Ramsay, whoever's got one on the tongue ready to go, give me your ugly.
For the ugly, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the yellow ding wall.
Fair.
I think that's
good.
harsh. I think they did well.
Says the guy who's just been slagging them off for like,
I
they
never
could
slagged
beat the
them
big
off.
team, they're the wee team and all that.
Yeah, big team, wee team. I did not slag off their fans once. I think the what you call it, the actual t-shirts themselves were a bit tin pot.
Yeah, that's I thought that's what Ramsay meant.
But we sat in the stands.
I
and
was just
like,
talking to yeah.
They've sold out the whole bit, and it did look like a yellow wall. I was quite impressed with it. I kind of like that. All
Okay,
that tin pot
fair.
stuff's class.
I don't know. It's a bit.
The highlight of the county ultras has been Caravan or Stable. We are able.
Yeah,
Sure, but that's county, so
no,
I'm
that's
gonna
not true.
criticize it,
They had headbands on at the weekend, so that's not true.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I don't think we can slag off everyone dressing in yellow when we rap fully bits of ripping around our head.
Nah, I see what you're saying.
Listen, right.
But
The
I
best
don't
part
know.
of being a football fan is the hypocrisy.
Aye, fair. Valid. But I think
Yeah.
for ugly, maybe bad, but I think ugly is harsh.
Okay, should I have that as bad and think of something else? All right, Robbie, what's your ugly?
My ugly is that little scummy Wraith fan who chucked a pyro into our West Ham. What's
yeah.
he doing? That was
Superb.
mental.
I can't believe he did
Actually,
that.
I kind of rated it, but if he never fell over and let the pyro run out, it would have been decent.
I was in stitches at that. Him slipping over, that was so funny.
I just love he throws it and stands there, and the police just casually stroll over.
That's what the police. I honestly, I was watching the video and I was like, the police fancy moving here.
The police were just guess we'll go get him then.
Do you know, something similar happened. I don't know if you, because we walked out together, but remember when we were walking over the bridge and there was a collection of county fans sort of giving it large to the Raith Rovers supporters buses?
Aye.
And then some wee boy, there was police everywhere, and some wee boy just ripped a pyro open and started waving it about.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, what are you doing? I was like, the whole of Police Scotland is on front of the street.
They were getting quite cocky with the pyro.
Yeah,
one of them literally just chucked it over the police's head, like a county fan.
Oh, it's
class.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Not that Staggies View
about
endorses the use of that.
No,
it's class.
I don't endorse the use of pyro ever since Livingston away, and my face was stained blue for 48 hours.
What's your ugly, Pete?
It's tough. My ugly, I think I'm gonna go for stewarding operations and stand at Starks Park. I was mostly disimpressed. I know you were saying it's a good away day. Yeah, it was, but that's because we were there, and that's because
the
county
stand
fans
is
are class.
good. The stand is fundamentally a good.
No, that.
Class.
I just can't get behind that. I'm afraid. I think the queue to get in and the setup, the position we were in. I think it was all just a bit of a mess, and I think whoever was in charge of that Raith Rovers needs to, I think they should be relieved that they're not going to have to welcome Celtic and Rangers to town, because if they can't handle 500 county fans, then I don't know how they're going to handle, say, 5,000 fans of another team. I think they need to have a real good look at their logistics with away supporters and have a bit of a rethink.
I thought they dealt with that Barry Matheson brilliantly.
I was waiting for the Barry Matheson shout.
Just taking a piss.
I think it was actually him.
Oh my god!
Well, what, he confirmed it himself.
Yeah. Actually, here's a bit of an exclusive for you. Obviously, with the season coming to an end, we're going to do some summer podcasts. One of them plans to be a wee silly Staggies View Awards. I reckon moment of the season is tied off for Barry Matheson at Raith.
Can we endorse that, Prof?
Well, we'll move on. Ramsay, we've endorsed far worse.
What's so bad?
Ramsay.
If the yellow ding wall has been upgraded to bad, my ugly is the masses of Scottish football fans on Twitter who were desperate for us to go down.
Fair. I like that. Robbie, how about you?
Robbie.
Robbie Macdonald.
My bad. Probably the goal. Yes, the goal we conceded. Keep it simple. That was pretty bad.
Well, let me yawning. That shows you how late at night it is. I'm struggling for this. We should have changed it because we stayed up, and that's like positive. It should have been like good, great, bad. But now I'm struggling to think of two bad things.
I know we've not been struggling for two bad things in a while.
Yeah, I think bad. What was bad? Dylan Easton's antics in front of the East Stand.
And Lewis Vaughan.
Yeah. That's what I'm going for. Lewis Vaughan punching the ball at the wee kids in the jail end. That's bad. Shocking behaviour.
Although, again, I kind of rated
it. I didn't catch that. I think I was looking at something else.
He just, he Laidlaw kicked the ball off him and it came back to him.
Oh, no. Yeah,
I just
never mind. Yeah.
Just punched it right at our little firm, and they were raging. The kids were fuming.
Yeah, so I'll go for that for my bad. Ramsay, you're good.
Ooh, there is a lot to choose from, isn't there? Ooh, you know what? I'm just gonna take the obvious one. Don Cowie is officially the man at the helm, and I have never been more excited.
Love that. I think the only criticism I can have of Don Cowie is that he doesn't finger the fans after the game. But other than that,
It's
maybe
been a while since we've had Malky. You might have to explain that one a little bit.
No, surely not. Surely everyone knows what the Malky finger was.
Okay, Justin, yeah. You know what? You're probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, over time, passions may grow with Don. Robbie, you're good.
The Raith Rovers stand. Magnificent.
What was that called? It was the SM lighting stand. There you go.
Oh, it was great, mate. I had a great time. I had so much fun in that little shack.
That was unbelievable.
Robbie, do you want to know what happened in my car today?
What?
I was going over the back roads to Koboki and I was coming round a blind corner, obviously a single track, and there was something coming towards me. So I had to brake really hard. And a tin of tenants flew up and hit the roof and burst open and started spraying everywhere. So thanks for that.
That was your payment for driving me home, man.
Well, it's in a bin now. It's it's all over my body.
Why you left a can of tenants in your car?
Because it was under the seat. It was under the seat. I didn't know it was there.
7 days, man.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have hit it on me.
Good win for Kilbokey tonight.
Aye, 5-0, mate.
Love that.
No bother. Anyway,
I just remember in primary school, I played for North Keswick in goal, and we made it to the Kilbokey Shield final, and it was heartbreak. against Kobuki themselves, I think. So
How
yeah,
many tins of tenants were you bursting open?
yeah, at the age of 9. Only
Kabuki Shield
10.
was for the wee teams. Awkward, too good for that.
All right. Wait, no, Och definitely played at that.
Oh, not maybe in your day, not back in my day, mate.
You're a year older than me.
I've never even heard of these places.
That's because you're from Edinburgh,
Shut
mate.
up. Me and Ramsay were proud of the Black Isle, all right?
Island nonsense.
Anyway, so I've taken us so off topic. Sorry.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's
I'm
because it's so late.
I'm a lowland boy like Inverness.
I think I'm going to fall asleep before I get around to doing my good.
Can't wait.
I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm going to break the rules. I'm giving you 2 goods. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to give you 3 goods.
No,
right?
I want 1 good and nothing else.
Nah, you're not getting 1 good. I can't do 1 good.
That's not how it works. You have to narrow it down. Give us some honourable mentions.
It's my podcast. I can do what I want.
Give us some honourable mentions and then give us 1.
No, that's too hard. I literally can't.
But that's
Can I give you 3 and then give you 2?
No, because you need to pick a good, a bad, and an ugly.
It's hard though.
We've done this whole season, man.
Can we do a great as well?
You can't cop out of the final hurdle.
Oh, you're killing me here, honestly.
In fairness, if we could have done this in previous podcasts, we would have ended up with like 6 uglies.
The one chance, Robbie, give me 1 chance. Come on.
I've been crying out to do about 4 bads a game. I need a single good bit.
Right, good. Honourable mention, Jack Baldwin. Good. Honourable mention, Simon Murray, but only because he's better than good. He's great. He's been great. So therefore, my good is going to be Jan Dhanda. And that feels like such a cop-out because he's also better than good. And now I realise my reasoning is pretty redundant. But I've mentioned them all. But this is all Robbie's fault for not letting me say them all because I think they've been our 3 most important players this season.
Respect.
Thanks, mate.
I'm glad you narrowed that down. I'm glad you played by the rules in the end.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Well, before I ask you for your favourite and least favourite moment of the season, there has been a couple of news items coming out of the club. Well, the first one technically not out of the club. Jordan Tillson took it upon himself to go on LinkedIn and announce that he was leaving County after 4 years at the club. Jordan Tillson obviously was brought to the club by Fergie and Ketts and was a terrific servant, played a massive part in us not only staying in the league over those 4 years, but played a really, really significant role in the top 6 finish under Mackay. And Ramsay, I know he was one of your kind of cult hero favourites, so you must be gutted to see Tilly leaving the club.
I am disappointed. I suppose the writing may have been on the wall a little bit when he got sent out on loan with a year left in his deal. I don't know. We have good options in the midfield, and I'm sure we'll add to that this summer. It obviously remains to be seen. I don't know what I was hoping for Tilly. I don't know. I wasn't really sure whether he'd get another year or 2, but I don't know. We've got not only have we got good players in his position, we've got good players in what would maybe be considered to be his role, such as Allardyce, Randall. So I'm not too surprised, but I am. Y'all know how much I love Tilly, man. I don't know. Best of luck for the future. I love you, man. Tilly, what a player.
Robbie.
He deserved as well. It was always going to come to an end after getting put out on loan in a season like this. You knew that he wasn't really going to find his way back into the regular game time anytime soon. But he's done well. He was a player who always worked hard. He seemed like a pretty decent guy as well. And he scored one wildly deflected goal that we will remember for the rest of our lives.
I'm so glad he got to score a goal for us before leaving.
Yeah,
I would, yeah,
probably
I would,
probably could have gone down as an own goal, but
I would. It's an honour to say that I was there against St Mirren when Jordan Tillson scored his only goal for Ross County Football Club after 111 appearances for the club.
I can't believe I missed it.
To see that ball skew into the back of the net and for us to actually go on and win the game, superb. We'll never forget that, Tilly. Rest in peace, the Tilly smash as well. Love that. Well, the other news, lads, on a bit more positive note, I guess you could say. The season only ended about 4 days ago, and we already have our Viaplay Cup group for next season. So we're
Is
in
it
Group
positive?
H.
Boring.
It's
Yeah, I
not
was gonna say,
great.
it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not great.
I'm
Just get
completely
behind me for
negative,
this
man.
though while I read it out. So we are Viaplay Cup Group H. We are the first out. We were last out the pot, first into the group. So Ross County, we're going to be playing Raith Rovers, Hamilton, Stirling, and Stranraer.
Again.
It's all right. It's not great. It's just
To be honest, though, I was looking at it. I was looking down the groups, and I'm like, were we ever going to be happy without getting Cali?
Oh, I would have taken like Bucky for a Highland League away day.
I guess we Highland Day would have been decent, but
When we got Bucky, that was a fun day, but it was also simultaneously the worst day of my life.
I wasn't there, thankfully. I was too busy stocking shelves.
just
Yeah.
Played Morton last year. Oh no, played Raith. I mean, played Raith not even last year. We played Raith 4 days ago. I feel like there's not much variety. We played Hamilton last year.
Yeah.
Beat by Hamilton.
Played Stranraer last year.
Played Stranraer last year. Just would have liked a bit of, but well. July. It's mental how quick it is. Like literally, Champions League final on Saturday, Euros. Well, Scotland friendly the Friday after, then the Euros, and then this starts before the Euros finishes.
Mental, absolutely mental. We love it though.
What do we do if Scotland are playing a cup final? If Scotland are playing in the Euro final and County are playing away to Stranraer on the same day?
See you in Stranraer. Simple as that.
I have to record the Scotland game. Shambles.
Surely we could make the kickoff time different, and we can go to a pub in Stranraer.
Or Scotland to lift the Euros.
Superb. So well, yeah. Hopefully we'll be top of the group and coming out with a wee. Well, if they make it through the groups, touch wood. If we make it out of the groups, hopefully we'll get a wee Highland derby on the go. But
Mate, it's been so long since we've had a cup run.
You can't have a Highland derby when there's only one Highland team.
There he goes. There he goes.
I mean, there he goes. That's factual information. How's that
Well,
Highland
actually,
derby?
little do you know, Kelly Hearts actually don't own that training ground. Fife Council do. So
It just keeps. I was about to say it keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting better.
That is mental though.
we can't talk about this. Sure.
No, we can't. That is mad. Like, it's more. Do you know what? I'm more impressed with the fact that Kelly Hearts have just signed a deal. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's class from it.
Who's the council winner at home anyway?
It's mad. They're just like, you know what? Just come and pay us to use the council's ground.
Well, Robbie, you can hopefully this won't be your favorite moment of the season. Cali moving to Fife, but I'll start off with Ramsay just to give you a bit of thinking time. But Ramsay,
Favorite moment.
Your favorite moment this season?
Does this have to be on the pitch, or could it be from like an away
It
game?
can be off the pitch. Yeah.
Okay. I tell you what. I think a lot of the decently big away crowds that we've been taking recently can be attributed to Sean and the Ross County Supporters Club. Walking through the turnstiles at Tawdry and seeing the sheer number of people that were there, that was pretty special. I think that might be mine.
That's a good one. Robbie, what about you? You tell me you had all that time to think of one and you just didn't bother.
There's been so many great moments with you boys, man. I would say moment of the season. Oh, I don't know. Give me some more thinking. Have you got one, Pete? Give me some more thinking.
Yeah, I've got one. I'm going a bit different. Although it was under Derek Adams, I'm kind of incorporating a whole day into mine, but I'm gonna go Hearts away 2-2. And celebrating that Dhanda free kick was absolute bedlam at the top of that stand, at that very steep stand. I thought I was going to decapitate myself celebrating that goal. But obviously it was goal of the season, and to be there live, seeing that hit the top corner was magnificent. And not only that, Robbie, afterwards, me and you and Robbie, no, I absolutely butchered that. Robbie, Gordy, Neil, and I had a magnificent evening out in Inverness afterwards to top off a celebration. So yeah, I would go for that day as a whole. That was cracking.
That was good. That was a lovely
Good
little
one.
festive number. I would say, do you know what? I would say probably for a single favourite moment, probably Danda's goal against St Johnston. Obviously,
Yeah,
the
that
game
was
didn't
good.
quite end as we kind of wished it would, but that moment there was class. And just every single time we've sung the Jail Ender song at an away game, that's been brilliant. That song is
Fantastic.
an absolute anthem. I can't believe it's taken us so long to get it going in the stands. Like it was, of course, intended to be done.
So it'd be class if Torridon remastered it.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
Get us involved.
the first one's an anthem. It's got
Well,
me in the music
obviously
video.
it's
What more could
class.
you
But
want?
if you wake up tomorrow morning and it comes up on your feed being remastered, class.
No,
Do you know what's-
they just need it. They need it on Spotify.
Do you know what's an absolute monstrosity that song is not on Spotify?
That's
Yeah.
like, can we do a campaign? Should we get a Staggies View
You
campaign?
know,
You could.
Sure.
when I was younger, when I was like, I want to say 13, 14, I had like a Kindle Fire. I had like a tablet, and I had Amazon Music, and it's actually on there.
Oh,
That's
fair.
class.
You need to start using Amazon Music then, not Spotify.
No,
Boycott.
there's got to be a way. We need to get Zetto by Wolfstone
Oh,
and the Jail Ender song on Spotify.
yeah, agreed. We're gonna have to
Right,
make that
that's
happen.
that's our summer sorted. Our one goal. If we do not get the Jail Ender song on Spotify by the opening day of next season, we don't do another podcast.
Oh God. Okay.
That's the motivation, boys.
Robbie just wants to leave the podcast. He's sick of it.
Can't wait. We'll leave
Right,
the
guys.
podcast now, man. It's 12:10.
Yeah, we're not done yet though. Robbie, least favorite moment of the season.
Least favorite moment of the season.
This is so easy for me. This is so easy.
Right, go on. You can go first.
Okay, well, aside from accidentally ordering 2 steaks and not
That
getting
was
a refund.
that should be my moment of the season. That was class.
I'll never
That's
forget
not-
me and you walking back to the table where Robbie's waiting. We're both fucking raging.
I was licking my lips, boy.
You know what? Actually, I said aside from. I'm gonna do the same as I did for favorite. I'm incorporating this into a whole day because that same day where I accidentally ordered 2 steaks and didn't get a refund, we got absolutely pumped 5-0 off Motherwell, and it was one of the worst games of football I've ever been to throughout my entire career as a football fan. I don't think I'll ever feel that low sitting in the stands as I did at that point. I honestly could have gouged my eyes out trying to watch some of those guys playing football under Derek Adams.
Did you not also get woken up at like 6 a.m. by a fire alarm?
I did, yeah. Oh yeah, wow, that was rough.
That was a classic.
Shit.
kid,
Okay, so
yeah.
you've taken the obvious one. I'm trying to think. Oh God.
We've had plenty, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I think, for a single moment, that was almost probably the most gutted I've felt this season would be the equaliser away to Motherwell to make it 3-3. When we were just, it felt like we were absolutely battering them, and then just capitulated. It was between that and the Livingston equaliser away from home, but
Dan Mackay.
yeah. But I'm going to go with good Milburn by him. But I'm going to go with
Enough of that.
I'm going to go with Motherwell. I think I felt pretty dejected after that game.
That's fair. You could argue that.
I'm sure there's a moment where I felt worse than this, but this comes to mind and it's a little bit different. It was only like a few weeks ago when me and my mates, we were sitting in the hotel the night before we were going to fly out to Mallorca. They're both Celtic fans. Obviously, they had the league title confirmed, but our game was a little later than theirs. So they won the league title. They were in party mood. I thought County were about to win this game. I was about to join in the party atmosphere. County were going to be staying up. Then I get the notification. 1-1.
Yeah, fair.
Shocking.
That was bad. Could kind of see it coming though, I think. That was why I just think I'll never, ever be... It was such a weird feeling of that Motherwell game because I wasn't angry. I just felt so... I think I just felt we were so disillusioned with the club at that point. And that's like to think that is the same season as like now finishing under Dawn, where like I feel really connected, is baffling. And I think it shows you like the roller coaster we've had this year. That I was genuinely like, I remember I said to you, Ramsay, when we were waiting for the train in Motherwell, I said, if Derek Adams is still in charge on Saturday, I'll not be going to the game. And lo and behold, he wasn't in charge. So I went.
You definitely would have still been at that game.
That's the thing. See, I would have, but at the time, I was like, nah. I was like, I'm boycotting Derek Adams.
The day after, waiting for the announcement was crazy.
Oh,
it came out in the evening, didn't it?
Came out at like 7. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to make clear if we could say the same like this, if we could give the same answers, I'd say the same thing as Pete. If I want to talk about it from my perspective, I know I came on here on the podcast afterwards, after Derek Adams had left, laughing and joking about the day. But I went into that. I went into that game. We'd been at the pub. I'd had a significant pint. I have never been sobered up by a game faster.
Yeah, we all had a decent shot.
I was so upset. I like. A lot of the time when County put in a bad performance, I'll be in a bad mood, but I'll be laughing and joking. Very rarely am I like just completely solemn. That was one of those moments. It was bad.
It was a depressing journey home, that one.
Just awful. Yeah. Anyway, time for some questions. Sort of one of you would like to do the honors.
Our tweet of the week.
We should have done what you call it. We should have done worst moment before best. I feel a bit rubbish now.
Yeah, I do feel a bit rubbish as well. But tweet of the week will cheer us up.
Yeah. I've got mine.
If you've got yours to hand, then you can take it away.
I do. So, I think this might be the first time it's by a player.
Oh no, you've taken mine.
Oh no, sorry.
Okay, no. Fire on, talk. I'm gonna look for another one.
Okay, well, I feel like it's pretty obvious. But Simon Murray said, very simply, 100 times better in the Premier League.
Oh, superb.
Love that.
Absolutely magnificent. Just
brilliant.
You know what? I like the fact that, a player's had a little bit of bravery to put his neck on the line a wee bit, and he's the first guy to call out something that Derek said. So there you go.
Yeah, love that.
Robbie, have you got one while I'm still hunting?
Yeah, mine is. I've had to do it. It was brilliant. I've had to give it to my fellow Staggies View member, Ramsay Banks. For I'll paraphrase here, but someone said, "Thank goodness I don't live in the Highlands." So Ramsay tweeted a little Cali badge with a speech bubble, which I thought was genius. Simply genius.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, It's good. Fantastic.
No, I'm gutted, right? Because as we speak, this tweet started to slow down. I've never had a tweet over 1,000 likes. This is sitting on 978.
Fly,
Devastating.
mate.
Go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
go and like
Yeah.
Ramsay's tweet.
Yeah, please do.
That's our other campaign for this summer.
Right, I've got one, guys. So my tweet's from at xliddy.x, and this was on May 26th. So she said, "This is a big fat finger to all the pundits who hate the Highlands, and a big fat appreciation moment to Don Cowie, who loves and appreciates the Highlands." I love that.
What a tweet.
And a close second, Stuart Taylor said, "Hard to explain if you're not a county fan, but a big part of days like today is just pissing off the clubs, managers, media, and fans who can't be arsed with us being based in the Highlands." There you go. I just thought sums up nicely. Robbie, you mentioned it earlier, or it might have been you, Ramsay, actually, but the hundreds of people on Twitter, etc., who wanted us gone, wanted us down. Yeah, so to anyone who is of that mindset, enjoy.
I love being based in
We're
the
here
Highlands.
to stay.
I love
You were
nothing
really-
more than being based in the Highlands.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Full time being based in the Highlands.
And do you know what else? Do you know what else is good apart from being based in the Highlands?
Training in the Highlands?
Training in the yeah,
Oh,
you
it's
took the words
class.
right out of my mouth. Yeah.
I
Fantastic.
love the
That's my
Highland
favourite.
Football Academy so much.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Right. Are we should we do questions?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Questions.
go on.
So many
Right,
questions.
There's a lot of questions. It's 20 past
All right.
midnight. Let's do
Mate,
this.
oh my word. I've got a bus to Glasgow tomorrow. Right, I'll take it away. We'll rifle through these.
Yeah.
So the first one comes from a good. If you listen to the glorious County versus Rangers podcast, you'll remember this boy from a questionable introduction. Donald Erskine, a good friend of the pod. He says, threefold questions, getting a bit greedy. First of all, do you think County deserve to stay up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Given
I think,
the playoff 6-1.
Yeah.
Of course we deserve it.
I think even aside from that, I think we deserve to finish 10th, to be honest.
Yeah. I would agree. On the course of the season, I think if we didn't have Derek Adams, we would have been a bit more comfortable. Do you think the SPL is the best place for you to grow as a team?
See, I think a lot of teams who have stagnated being in a relegation battle every season, sort of some fans get into the mindset of, go down for a season, blood in some youth, win every week, it'll be exciting, da 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 da. And unless you're lucky like us or Dundee United or, other teams have done it, Kilmarnock, it's very easy to get stuck down there, and then you're basically back where you started. You're bored, you're stagnant in the same place, and you run the risk of going down again. So I think, people like to romanticize the idea of dropping down a level and blooding in youth, etc. But I think it very rarely pans out that way. So I think, yes, that as a club, the Premiership has to be the best place for us to develop.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the word grow is quite, I don't know if it's probably the right word to use, like a club our size, because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, the goal for this football team is to maintain your position in the top flight of Scottish football. And if we do that, that's success. And some other teams will look at that and go, oh, it's tin pot, it's small-minded and whatever. But at the end of the day, that's reality. That it is what it is. And I think that's why we love it, because when we go and punch above our weight, it feels all the more special. So I think I don't know what my thoughts are on sort of growing as a club. I think off the pitch, we're making great strides to growing. But I think in terms of on the pitch, I think got to be quite level-headed and think we want to play against the best teams in our country. We're doing that. We're going to do it for the 6th consecutive season. And I think we all just want to keep doing that.
I would agree. I think Roy McGregor came out the other day. I think it was Roy, anyway, who said that we're basically like staying up is worth £2.5 million to Ross County.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money that we'd be losing out on if we go down to the Championship. And I think, word has it there's quite a few players on decent pay packets. So I think the squad would probably have fallen apart if we fell down to the Championship. And then finally, do you think you'll stay up next season?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Don Cowie's the man.
Yeah, I think with
Top
Don
six.
Cowie.
Top six, here we come.
Europe?
What do you want us to discuss? Was the wording of the Staggies View question. Neil Sinclair replied, streamers and headbands.
Oh,
Yes. Streamers and headbands.
yeah, big advocate. I think Gordy Bryce mentioned it. I think a big you've got to attribute our upturn in form to coinciding with the introduction of streamers and headbands from the county support. So yeah, hope they stay. Hope they're here for the long run.
Wonderful addition.
If you've no headband, you're not county. Go away. Go away.
The worst
Exactly.
chant of all time.
That's incredible, man. Cheer up.
Stuart Taylor, he's been mentioned already. We were discussing in the National after the Raith game. Should the old Royal Bank of Scotland building opposite be taken over by Weatherspoons? To make it authentic, they could have toilets on top of Mitchell Hill.
Short and simple. Yes. What is Dingwall lacking? There's a lacking of Weatherspoons.
Would
But
that,
I
be
think
the
if
would that be the death of the Staggies Bar?
what would it be called? What would the Dingwall Spoons be called?
The County Corner.
I think if we were gonna let Spoons open an establishment in Dingwall, we'd have to get it, contractually written out that they would start serving Barbie bombs instead of having to do homemade ones, I reckon.
But they have to put the same amount of measurement of smicing.
Yeah. To be fair, the homemade ones are quite good sometimes.
I know. I quite like the novelty of putting the shot glass in by myself.
Yeah.
Splashing all over the table.
So yeah, Spoons and Dingwall, fantastic idea. All for it. I think if we club together, we could maybe buy it over.
Where does all your money come from, mate? Invigilating. Vincent McInnes. Vincent.
It's not Vicente. I think.
Vicente, that's the one.
Yeah.
Should Nightingale stay?
I would be more than
I
I would
would
see him return. Yeah.
Whether he would relocate, I know he's a Wimbledon boy. He's been there his whole career. I think he's even captained them officially. So whether he wants to stay there and fight for his place, I think he definitely has the ability to. But if it looks like he's out of favor there, I really hope we're the first ones knocking on his door.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's been solid throughout the season, and he's only 28. He's coming to his peak as a centre half, so could be a useful player for us.
We'll definitely do a full podcast on this. Or we'll incorporate this question in a future podcast. Because absolutely not tonight. But Jack Ross asks, can we go through the complete squad and do a release or retain? So I reckon in the next week or two we'll get something up on that.
Yeah.
Maybe even do it when our official retained released list comes out, and we can discuss if we agree or not.
Yeah. Rory Macdonald transfer targets.
I actually wrote some down. Here you go. Here's some names off the top.
You fire them out, and then I'll think.
You can tell me how outrageous you think these are. These are all very Scottish based, so my knowledge of the English market's not very good. But Jack McMillan, Park Thistle right back, yes or no?
Good player.
Yes, we need a right back.
Rudy Payton, Queen's Park striker, yes or no?
Nah.
No.
Depends.
Know who he is.
Depends who we keep on.
Yeah, fair. Aidan Fitzpatrick, Park Thistle winger.
No, hate him.
Nah, you would take him though.
You take.
I hate him. I would take him, but I hate him.
Liam Boyce.
Hell yeah.
No, we're not getting him.
Freshly relegated with Port Vale, Alex Jakubowski.
Would take him to stay there, I reckon.
He won't come back.
Jason Holt, free agent.
He just signed for Dundee United today.
No way, did he?
Did he?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, look at me lacking in my Scottish football knowledge. Well, that's that one
No,
out the
you were
window.
slagging me about 10 seconds ago.
Yep. There you go. That's a couple of names that I wrote down.
Fair enough.
Anyone else to
Well,
add,
just search
Ramsay?
his name, and maybe I dreamt he signed for Dundee United.
Let me search him up on Twitter. Jason
Oh, I
Holt.
think Kevin Holt signed a new contract.
Ah, that was Kevin Holt. Yeah, it was.
Kevin Holt signed for Dundee United, did he?
Yeah,
Well,
I,
he
knew,
already-
I was going to say,
I knew-
how did I miss Jason Holt?
Never mind. I take everything I just said back.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll put that back on the table. Let's sign Jason Holt.
Sorry, mate.
Jason Holt. Meh, maybe.
It was just a few names. That's all.
Yeah.
Interesting
fair
one from Pete Turner here. Who is it that gets to park at the ground on big match days? The club always announce no public parking, and the car park is always full.
I
don't
can
have
answer
the
that.
Official
I can answer
stuff.
that slightly. I can't answer it fully officially, but I know that on match days, media and press are entitled to a car parking space with your accreditation.
Yeah.
So
when Sky Sports are hosting a game.
So that's what I was going to say. When it's Sky Sports, they probably get, the car park at the back, like near the away end. If it's a televised game, that's probably full with TV lorries and etc. I don't know how it works, but
you got to think
lorries not parked in there.
The amount of bodies to put on the production, all the cameramen, all the presenters, all the behind the scenes
runners,
a lot of parking taken up. I also think that probably for games, for instance, when you're playing the Old Firm or playing Hearts and Hibs, there's probably a lot more people in hospitality than usual.
So I think we can section it off as in media is a large part, hospitality is a large part, playing staff and just Ross County staff in general is probably a large part. Then I think you've probably got I don't know what, but there's three big sections that will take up. But in terms of why,
That's a good question, to be fair.
What the rest is, I'm not sure. I'm not someone who parks at the stadium on match days, so it doesn't really affect me. But again, it's a good question.
Should Don try to get Brian Shepherd? Sorry, should Don try to get Nightingale and King back on loan again? We've already said Nightingale, Eli King.
100%. Eli King is
I don't think he can. I don't think he will. But
Eli King is an unbelievable footballer. I think Eli King, being as good as he is, will probably be pushing for a first team spot at Cardiff City come next season. If that doesn't happen, then we should be hammering down the door to get him back because
I think
footballer.
With King, it's ironic because he came in as Derek's man and he didn't look nearly as good under him as he did under Don. Last few weeks under Don, oh my god, caviar, Eli King.
Yeah, unbelievable footballer. So talented. So athletic as well. Sorry, Robbie.
Such a good song as well, eh?
Yeah, God save our Eli King.
Cracking national anthem. Does Harmon deserve another contract?
Yes, he does. 100%.
Fingers crossed, cross my fingers, cross my toes.
He's probably not had as much game time as he'd want this season. When did I say this on this podcast already? I said this to someone, or I typed that or something. But Borthwick Jackson coming in probably hampered Harmon's season. I said it to you and to you guys in the Twitter chat. But yeah, Borthwick Jackson coming in probably, I think, really hampered Harmon's season because although Reid came back and played a bit, I think it was always kind of set up for those two to be like playing fiddle with each other, and whoever didn't start, they would kind of balance the game time out throughout the season. But then Derek came in and signed a third left back who started every game when he was there, and I think that
in fairness
threw a spanner in the works.
Carrington as well.
We did, to be fair, but I think him. That's what I meant. Sorry, I should have added that in. Like when he left, and then it was just them two. I feel like we were all quite comfortable having just those two as the two left backs.
Yeah.
And then a third one comes in, and you're thinking, no, and that's when I think Harmon maybe will have every right to be looking elsewhere and going, I probably could have played more games this season. So that's probably. But yeah, long story short, yeah, he does. He deserves another contract. Hope he signs.
Hero.
And finally, from Brian, perhaps a bit of a conspiracy here. If we finish in the playoffs again next season and stay up, will the SPFL go back to 2 up, 2 down in a desperate attempt to get rid of us?
Probably. Wouldn't put it past them.
Genuinely, to be fair, I'm only half joking.
Then,
Robbie.
for some stupid reason, you decided to ask for more questions.
Yeah, the quote
Yeah, that
tweets I
was
was
me,
about to say.
So, Dean Ross says, "Have we seen the tactical shape that Don will reply next season? Apply, I'm assuming he means.
Can
Are
you
we-
read that again? You butchered that.
Yeah, because Dean Ross butchered it. Have we seen the tactical shape? The tactical shape that Don
Tactical
will
sheet.
apply? That
Tactical
Don
sheet.
will shut up. Have we seen the tactics that Don will be playing next season?
I think to an extent, but I think Don's been pretty comfortable in changing formation anyway. He's switched a few times from a 4 to a 5. I would love us to sign some actual wingers to help Jay Henderson get in the team and for us to maybe, actually play with wide men at some point next season.
Yeah.
But I have quite liked the back 5 under Don. I think we've been good enough going forward with it. However, there'll be a back 5 which doesn't have Jan Dhanda in the start 11, so might be a different story next season.
Yeah, it would be interesting because, like, obviously there's a Dhanda-shaped hole. It'd be interesting to see where that hole is because he could change the formation. Are we going to see, his replacement in a wide area or in his more natural position? Be interesting to see.
Time will tell. I think it's very much down to personnel.
Yeah, I think
in summertime. I think if we
I
keep
hope-
the same squad, he's going to have to stick with a similar formation.
I'm
But
desperate, absolutely desperate for some wingers though.
I'd love a win.
Oh yeah. I hope I hope next season is Jay Henderson's big time to shine. I also hope that door isn't shut on Kyle Turner. I think Turner was hard done by in the fact that he had to compete with Dhanda. And he seemed like he had a good attitude in terms of, playing out of position. And then obviously he was out of the team and then Derek Adams happened.
Yeah, I've spoken about it before. I do think Kyle Turner didn't take his opportunities as well as he could have. I think he could have played better when he was afforded game time. To be fair, you said he was playing out of position, which he was, so I guess you got to take that into consideration. But I know he deserves another chance, but just it's a big shoes to fill. Young shoes.
Finally, before we can all go to sleep, with Hibs cash rich, Hearts and Aberdeen likely to be cashing in on top strikers, can we expect a big offer to come in for our player of the year? He still has a year of his contract to go, and as I'm sure all county fans would obviously rather keep him back.
To be honest, right, I've mentioned this
Age.
before, but yeah, Simon Murray's going to turn 33 next year. I don't think any club with a sensible owner is going to be dishing out large amounts to get him because realistically, as amazing as he's been for us, the maximum you're going to get out of Simon Murray at this level is probably 4 years at a push, I would say. And although that's like good to hear, I think it's probably unlikely that a bid big enough for us to go, okay, that's more valuable to us asset wise than just holding on to him. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the realistically the maximum amount anyone's going to be willing to pay for a 32-year-old Simon Murray is probably no more than 150 grand. And I don't think anyone will pay that.
I don't think it's going to happen unless Ty pushes for it.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, he might do because obviously it's well documented. He's a Dundee boy. There was interest from both Dundee teams in January when he was unhappy out under Dell. Obviously, he did decide to stay. If interest from one of those teams comes in and he decides he wants to move closer to home, then fair enough. But if it doesn't, and there's like not great offers coming in, I think we've got. I think obviously my uncle's been in my ear all week saying there's no chance for keeping him, but I think we've got. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I think it is up to him. I think what he wants for. himself and where he wants to be playing his football. I've made a mess of this. Basically, I'm making this a lot more complicated than it needs to sound. If Simon Murray wants to go, then I think we'll accept an offer for him. I don't think we'll be holding him against his will, but I think we have more of a chance of keeping him than a lot of people seem to think.
Completely agree.
Lovely.
Robbie, you got anything to add, or is that us?
Nah, so I think he's worth. Yeah, we're not going to get offered what he's worth to us because of his age. And because of that, he's going to stay. Hopefully he'll stay. And I'd much rather that than 150k. Much rather that than 300k.
Yeah, 100%. Well, after a long late night recording session, that wraps up this episode. It's currently 20 to 1 in the morning. So I think we're all ready to hit the hay. There'll be no editing getting done tonight on my part anyway. But
Corner's just released his pod, so we've been beaten anyway.
Oh, really?
God damn it.
Fair,
Oh, well.
fair play.
Fair
The
play,
best podcast doing better things.
What I want to say actually is I'll edit this tomorrow. Jack, if you bring out the squad update,
please no.
While I'm editing this, we will be having words.
Yeah, please no. Just wait until tomorrow night at least.
Wait till I'm back from holiday, mate.
Ramsay, thank you for joining me on this episode. Mate. It's been a pleasure. Robbie, unfortunately, I had to spend 2 hours and 2 minutes with you, but thanks for coming on.
How's your nose, mate?
No place I'd rather be.
Yeah, how is your nose?
Mate, it seems to be back. Right? We're bins full of bloody tissues, but
fair.
Well, right.
That's gonna make some good content anyway.
Nah, we get that bit cut out.
Not a chance. Anyway, that rounds up this episode. I think this is episode 26. I didn't say at the start. Bang, there you go. So 26 episodes this season, boys. That's pretty good going, if you ask me, for a podcast team that produced 4 last year. I think we've outdone ourselves.
The Robbie Macdonald effect.
Big up GCU Studio for getting us back in the habit. But nevertheless, if you want more of this, we've got some special episodes planned over the summer. We're going to record some football chat, some mostly non-football chat, just because we all need a break from Ross County.
I'm so ready
making
to
us
take
nervous.
A break from football.
So, as I said, if you want more of this, don't forget to follow us on social media at Staggies View on all the socials, pretty much. YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, you name it. We're probably on there. And yeah, thank you for joining me. We are staying up. Thank you to all the players for their magnificent effort this season. It was a pleasure watching us win the playoffs once again. So there you have it. County.
I just want to say, if this is officially,
let me go to bed,
okay, chill. Hold on. If we're gonna have summer podcasts, but if this is officially the last episode of this season, thank you very much for your support and your comments and your listenership. Is that a word? Probably not. Over the past season, I think it's safe to say, I don't know about you boys, but it's definitely blown my expectations out the water. So thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely summer, and we will be talking to you very, very soon. We'll have some summer podcasts for you. So hopefully you'll be tuning in. Yeah, that's all from me.
Yeah, sorry for shutting you down there, Ramsay. That was a worthwhile finish.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I want to go to my bed though.